We are builders. We are crafters. We are fighters. We are Bear Hill Shire.
Today we're doing a chicken pot pie. This is my dad's recipe, and it's really designed for, as I'm reading the recipe here, cooked chicken, not raw. What we're going to be doing with this is a little bit off the menu or the recipe as I have it, and it's the first time making this, so I'm kind of curious as to how this is going to go, but we'll tell you if we die from salmonella or not. What we need is 2 cups. This is about 3 maybe, so 2 good chicken sized breasts, cubed, all the fat cut off, a tablespoon of flour. We need a cup of sliced carrots, a cup of chopped onions, and a 1/4 cup of celery, which I've already done all the prep on that. We need thyme. We're going to be using a 1/2 teaspoon of that and a 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. You're also going to need a pie dish to cook it in. Tin is fine. You don't have to have nice glass ones like this. This is a 12-inch pie dish. We have frozen peas. We're going to need a cup of frozen peas. 1 cup of frozen peas. 4 tablespoons of butter without the paper. Flour for the chicken to coat that in. We already did in a different video the pie crust right here, and I'm just going to leave that on the mat. We rolled it out, made the dough and rolled it out. That's going to go on the top. Sometimes people will do a bottom pie crust and then a top. The problem with that is that you have to pre-cook the bottom pie crust, otherwise all of the juices just suck into that dough and you get this big doughy mess on the bottom. I don't want to mess with that. That's what this pie dish is designed for, which is basically to have one crust over the top, so that's the way we're going to do it. Golden mushroom soup. In this case, I just used regular cream of mushroom and I put in a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Then you got golden mushroom. I also did a little bit of cream, heavy whipping cream or heavy cream in there just to give it some extra kick. To cook the chicken pot pie, what we want to do is we're going to pre-cook the chicken in flour and oil. So we're going to flour all the chicken, cook it in the pan, get it all nice and white so it's like cooked on the outside mostly. This is going to be going into a 350-degree oven for 45 minutes. After the chicken's cooked in the pan with the flour on it, we're going to add in our vegetables and the butter. Once we've got the vegetables and the butters going, then we're going to be putting in the cream of mushroom soup, then the peas, then we dump it all on the pie plate, then we put the crust over it, butter top the crust, throw it in the oven. Start with chicken. So I'm just gonna go, about that. I know that would be about 2 tablespoons of flour in a different world, but not mine. In goes the chicken. Ice cream buckets are really handy for this kind of stuff. Chicken's got a nice even coating on it, no mess everywhere. Some people say use a plastic bag, I don't. This would be our 1/2 teaspoon of thyme. And pepper. It's pepper! Shake that up again. We have our chicken pepper mix now. Sifter. Make that video edit easier. With any kind of chicken flour, any kind of floured meat, I'm gonna take the meat and just sift out the chunks. And since this is all going in the same dish anyway, stick that right in there. I really don't want a shitload of flour in the pan. If I was to butter fry this, this would probably burn. So I'm not going to butter fry it yet. I want to butter saute the vegetables. And I'm going to do that in the juices from the chicken. Okay, that's ready to saute. That's ready to saute. Cup peas I can throw in there later. Let's go over to the stove. Over here on the stovetop, we're going to start by putting our heat on the big pan here at medium high. We're going to coat with just basic vegetable oil. Okay, sure where you can see that there. Not want to do any extra flavors with the oil, so I'm going to avoid the olive oil and stuff like that. Coat the bottom. This stove heats up really fast, so I'm going to let that go. I'm going to get my butter ready to go. Now for those of you that don't understand that butter does come with these little marks here, that's your tablespoons. So if I'm going to mark my tablespoons, all I have to do is count out 1, 2, 3, 4, put my mark there, and then I don't have to cut through the paper.
Suck it hard!
I am gonna parcel that up here, ready to go. Okay, so all my butter is ready to go on the side here. Let that sit. Put it in too soon, you're gonna get some kind of lumpy flour mess there, so I'm gonna give that a couple seconds. Yeah, I got a nice shimmer going on here. Put one in there. And I got a little bit of bubbling. So we'll give that. There we go. Want to hear that nice crackling oats type of stuff going on there. I don't want to have my handy dandy spoon holder here. I'm just going to stick it on the bowl up there. Don't want to put it on the burners because they can catch fire. Fire's bad. Chicken pot pie usually doesn't have a ton of flavor, from my experience. A good alternative to cutting your own chicken up would be to leftover chicken, KFC, you know, you do it right with the shell stuff on it, you heat it up, you powder it up, you throw it in the mix. Trying to keep this all evenly coated in oil at the same time cooking on its own. Probably too much chicken here, but hey, I like chicken. I'm going to rinse this out. I'm going to go down a little bit on the heat. Just to help the cooking process along, I'm going to lid this for a few. It is going to sit in the oven for 30 minutes at 45 minutes at 350. I don't need to go crazy with this. Just to add in, and I'm improvising here off the menu, or the recipe, I'm going to do some original salt-free seasoning blend, so this is like Mrs. Dash. Okay, that's nice and brown. Then go to the veggies. Give it a little bit of water. It's getting kind of dry. There we go. Get a nice little roux going on there. I'm going to add my butter now. Let that melt up a little bit. You could add chicken broth in here if you wanted to. I didn't feel like messing with it today. It's not part of the recipe. I figured one addition's enough. It is going to want to stick, so you may have to add a little bit more water. You want to let those carrots soften up. A little bit more water. Throw in the peas. That one too. Again, since I've never made this before, this way, I'm eyeballing this as I go. I'll tell you if it's decent. I could probably also add in some white wine if I had some, a little bit. See that nice gravy going on there? That's what I want. The onions are getting see-through, which is good. Pretty medium-high heat here. Really want to keep stirring it so it doesn't stick and burn. Flour in pans does love to stick and burn. That looks like it's pretty good to go, ready for the mushroom. Now I don't have to cook everything here all the way. It is going to go in the oven for a good chunk of time. You want to make sure that's all nice and combined though. Okay, we're going to give that about 5-6 minutes on a medium low. Let that just kind of bubble up. We're going to dump as much of this into here as we can. Then the pie crust goes on the top. We're going to melt some butter. Some people use milk for that. Where they'll put the brushing on top of the crust. I'm going to go with a little bit over a tablespoon of butter. And we're just going to melt that in the microwave. Butter's ready to go. Okay, that looks like it's about done. Okay, heat goes off. Just gonna start spooning this in. If I had enough pie crust, if I had enough leftovers here, I could probably make 2 of these. I can also just serve this on rice or noodles. Make sure I cook it longer though. Off would be better than high. This is looking like it's gonna pretty much be all of it. And that's what I want. I want a nice heap there where it's not flowing over the sides. Pie crust comes off. Just gonna lay that on there. And this pie dish is really handy because it's got these little divots on the side where you can squish the pie crust onto it. Like that. That'll actually glue it right on there. Or that's the theory anyway. Probably would have worked better if I'd flipped it over the other way. But I want that nice seal there. If I can get it to happen. Probably not. Okay. Good enough. I really don't have that much extra here hanging over the side, so I'm just going to bunch that up. Give you more of a crust look than just this little flimsy thing hanging off here. Okay. Now that that's on there, pinch that down. I suck at crust if you haven't noticed. Okay, I'm gonna pop some holes in that so I don't end up with a pie bomb. Let the steam out. There we go. Take my butter. Get it all nice and brown and golden. You can do this with milk too. If you roll the pie crust super thin, kind of like we did here, it really wants to tear. And I don't want chicken soup with dough on the top or crust flakes. I want, you know, chicken pot pie. The whole point of pie is that there's an extra crust there. So that's nice and buttered up. We're gonna take the pizza pan. Oh, I almost forgot. Recipe also calls for salt and pepper on the top. So we're just gonna give it a sprinkle here. Sprinkle of this. And I'm gonna do a little bit more Mrs. Dash here. Probably not that much, but good enough. Okay, so here's the tin foil, which is going to act as an extra grip catch. I really don't want all of that all over the bottom of my stove. If that does expand and push out the side, it's going to go on here. Yeah, don't put the pizza pan on the hot burner, because then the pizza pan gets hot. Pie goes over here. Oven goes open. And here we go. Now I put that on the bottom rack. I'm going to go 30 minutes with that. Actually, I'm going to start off higher because I know, like, when you want to set a crust, you always go higher. So I'm going to go 425 for 10 minutes to let that set up. And once that sets up, the crust, then I'll take it down to 350, and then it should bake and not make it a big bubble. So we'll be back in about 45 minutes. Pot pie's finished. 45 minutes, actually longer than that. We were really trying to get the crust golden brown. I think we went about, I want to say, an hour total with the higher temperature at first and then down to 350. Maybe could have gone a little bit higher at first to get it to brown more. It is nice and hard there. If you look here, all on the edge, that's why we do the whole pan under the pan thing, because this would have all been on the bottom of my oven and I would have been scrubbing that out for hours. Serve it on rice if you want, serve it right as is. Okay. Thanks for watching. It's been Chris LaPine. You guys have a great night.
You are blocked right on your shiny bald spot.
This one? This bald spot right here? Make sure that's the one. Show you my other bald spot. When the oil starts to kind of glimmer there, then we can introduce the bird. There's the bird. As you can see, this is not cooked. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to throw this in the microwave for... I'm going to throw this on the stove and boil it.
Pan.
It's not... It says cooked.
Yeah, you cook it in the pan. You don't throw it in the fucking microwave. What the fuck?
I guess I'm cooking it in the pan. Take two. Pause. Give me alcohol for that. Yeah. I'm just gonna sit here and hold the chicken for you the whole time. There it is. You impressed yet? No? Okay. To cook the crock-pot chicken.
Cut. No, I think that's where all your hair migrated to.
With friends like you, who needs enemas? I swear. Alcohol. Not a part of the dish.
Edit. Outtake.